Hey my Pilates people, my name is Jessica. Welcome to Connect and Move. Today we will be doing kind of a fun contemporary reformer flow. As always, it will be full body. You will need your box and possibly a knee pad for some kneeling exercises, your reformer of course, and your beautiful self. The only thing I ask of you is that you please honor your body, right? So if I'm cueing a certain spring tension, right, obviously I only have one reformer in front of me, I can't cue all of them, but please make your adjustments as need for your equipment, your body, all right? Take breaks when you need. We're gonna be starting with one medium spring. So for this balanced body reformer, it's gonna be one red spring, and let's get started. Feet go up onto the foot bar, head is into the headrest here. So arms are just long down by your side. And then let's go all 10 toes on, hip socket distance apart. So already, right, it's very light. The carriage is moving out pretty easily. So instead of having the toes more in front of the foot bar, think of them coming a little bit more on top. So you get a really good connection, not just with the toes, but the balls of the feet, all right? So before we press the carriage out, I want you to feel that your tailbone is heavy and reaching long away from the crown of your head. Your arms are stretched down and into the mat. Take a big expansive breath in here. Feel that chest open and the shoulders roll open. And then as you exhale, keep the broadness in your chest as your ribs just start to fall down to the mat. Take another big breath in here. Press down through every finger and the back of the arm. And as you exhale, think of just getting longer and taller in your spine. Now give me just a little lift of your heels. Feel those inner thighs engage, keeping the legs parallel. And then on your next inhale, you're gonna press the carriage out, keeping downward energy, right, through the back of the legs. And then exhale, pull yourself home. Inhale out, exhale, pull yourself home. So as you're going out and in, right, it's a very light spring. So make sure that the base of the ribs stay down, right? Because it takes a lot more core control, I personally feel, right? Because there's not nearly as much support with the legs. And then once you have the ribs under control, I want you to kind of shift your focus to the back of the legs. Really work that pull home, right? There's a hamstring curl right there. And that's the reason for having the toes a little bit more on top of the foot bar than in front, right? Knees are bending and straightening at the same time. All your Pilates principles apply here. Let's do two. And last one here. Bring the carriage all the way in. And now I want you to bring your left leg up into tabletop and just pause here for a moment. Feel equal weight down through your hips. And then from here, you're gonna press the carriage out and then pull yourself home. It's okay if it feels like that right foot is gonna slip off, right? That tells me that you're in the right spot, because I want you to work that downward energy through the entire back of the leg as you go out and in. Now as you press the carriage out, I want you to straighten that left leg up to the ceiling and then just bend the knee as you bring the carriage in, right? So both legs will go straight and then bend both knees. And if you're tight, I want you to really work that super straight leg to open up the back of that knee and then back in. Work that push away of the foot bar. Let's do three. Equal weight into your shoulders and your back. And two. And last one here, hold that carriage out. And now I want you to flex both feet and then point out through both toes. Flex both feet, point out through the toes. All right, so carriage will move because that one heel is dropping under. Neckline is still long here. Active flex of that right foot, especially being on that light spring. You have two and one. Now bend the knees, bring the carriage home. Go ahead and press it right back out. So keep the carriage quiet here. That left leg, you're gonna cross the body. You're gonna lower the leg down and around and out to the side. It's your single leg circle from the mat. So how still can you keep this carriage as that leg moves around in space? So really work that reach into the foot bar. Last one here. Come all the way up. You pause, check your boxes, check your neck, and then reverse your circles. Inhale as you go out. Exhale to cross the body and back up. Energy down into the arms. That big toe leads the way as it circles around the room. Try to keep that right hip bolted to the mat. I'm struggling right there with you. Give me one more here. Come all the way up and then bend both knees, bring the carriage home. All right, situate those feet. Bring your right leg up in a tabletop. Pause here. Your tailbone is heavy. Both butt cheeks or hips are equally weighted into the mat. You're gonna press the carriage out and then pull yourself in. So take just a couple here with keeping your right knee bent, just to feel that downward energy through the back of your left leg now. And then when you're ready, you're gonna straighten both legs at the same time and then bend both knees at the same time. Try to connect the entire back of the arms to the mat. And as that right leg goes straight, feel that that right hip not only anchors, but it's kind of reaching to the left inner thigh. Especially if you're tight, right, that hip is gonna wanna hike up. Think of reaching those toes up to the ceiling and opening up through the back of the knee. I don't know about you, but I am extra tight today. Let's do 3. Work that push down into the foot bar, and 2. Neck is still long. Last one, hold it out here. We're gonna flex and point. So make sure it's not just a drop of that heel down. It is an intentional flex and then lift of the heel up. Equal weight into the balls of your feet, that's on the foot bar. But then since you can see your right foot, I want you to see that all 5 toes are pulling back to the shin and then back up. A lot of times that pinky toe gets left behind. Ribs are soft here. Tailbone is heavy. Still have downward energy through the back of that left leg. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. We bend the knees, bring the carriage home, press it right back out. Now as we cross the body, allow that right hip to lift a little bit. You're gonna circle the leg down and around, the hip plants, and then back up. Inhale as you cross, exhale, circle the leg down and around. Once again, right, with a lot of things in Pilates, it's not what's moving, it's what's not moving. Right, the moving thing is important, but the not moving thing is a lot of times more important. Check those shoulders. Mine were just creeping up. Last one here. All the way up. Now pause. Can you get those legs even straighter, even stronger? And then reverse. Inhale out, exhale it up. Reach the toes across the room and back up. You're still pushing away on that foot bar. Reach it across and up. How you doing? I can feel my legs like crazy right now. We've got 3 and 2. Exhale up. Last one. And up. Bend the knees, bring the carriage all the way home. All right, go ahead now, take your right arch down to your platform. I have a very narrow one, so my toes and my heels are hanging off. If you can get all the foot on, great. All right, make sure your headrest is down. Your left arch is on the foot bar, okay? So our legs are kind of split right now, and they're in a hip socket distance apart, okay? So it's a very light spring. Don't go crazy on these, but weight down through the arms. Take a big breath in. On your next exhale, slightly pull that pubic bone back. Try to keep the carriage still as you just find a little hover of your tailbone off of the mat, and then roll back down, right? My carriage moved. Equal weight into your feet. Again, exhale, curl the tailbone under, little tuck of the hips, little hover of the tailbone if you can, and then roll back down. Yep, again. And back down. So this is a lot of work on the back body, right? So try to get your stomach muscles involved to really work that pelvic tilt, and then back down. Let's do one more here. And then all the way back down. Okay, go ahead and switch legs. Even if it feels like your hips are not going anywhere, like they're not lifting up, no worries, right? The cheeks can still totally be touching the mat here. This is a tough one. Equal weight down through your feet. Arms are heavy. From here, on your next exhale, a little curl of that tailbone under, maybe a little hover, and then all the way back down. I don't know about you, but I'm really feeling the back of my leg of the foot that's down on that platform. Like, my left leg is really talking to me. But the purpose of this is, right, we just did a lot of hip flexion on both legs. And I just want to work just opening up the top of that hip. So let's do 2. Remember, equal weight, inner thighs at the party. Last one here. And then go ahead and lower all the way down. Go ahead and place both feet up now. Take your hands into, let's go the short loops. You can go long loops if you like for, I guess, less feedback. So wrap the fists around, punch the fists up to the ceiling, finds that broad collarbone. Bring your legs up into tabletop and squeeze the legs together. Feel that the tailbone is heavy and the ribs are bolted to the mat. So challenge yourself to hold that natural neutral. And then lower the arms all the way down, keeping that spine and pelvis stable. And then float the arms all the way back up. Again, drag the knuckles across the room and down and pause at the bottom. Dig all of your knuckles into the mat, but can you now connect the upper arm bones to the mat as well, keeping the ribs heavy, right? It is a struggle bus. And then arms come all the way back up. Find that true chest expansion at the bottom and then all the way back up. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, gosh, my ribs pop up when my arms connect to the mat, find like a happy medium, okay? Right? It takes abdominal work to keep the ribs down. It takes upper back and back of the arm to connect the back to the mat. A lot of work. Let's do 3. Legs are still super glued together. And 2. And last one, lower the arms all the way down. If it's available, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Make sure your tailbone is heavy and you're finding a punch out through your first and second knuckles. Bring your right knee in closer to your right ear as your left leg shoots out long and away. And now as you switch, let your inner thighs graze each other. And then opposite leg reaches out long. And switch. Inhale as you pass. Exhale as you pull the knee in deeper, deeper, deeper. Inhale as you pass. Exhale, empty the lungs, pull the knee in, and continue to switch. You can do this with your head down, right? No worries. Keep digging the knuckles into the mat. Strong, straight arm. Just deep, slow work here. Let's do 2. Last one, empty, empty, empty the lungs. Bring both knees into your chest. Float the arms all the way up. Lower the head back down. Again, arms come down. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up if it's for you. Exhale, bend the knees all the way into the chest. Inhale, shoot the legs out long and away. And exhale, bend the knees in. Try to stay parallel for these today. Inhale, reach the legs out long. And exhale, hug the knees back in. Inhale, out, reach. Exhale, hug the knees all the way in. Again, stretch the legs out long. Float the left leg straight up like it's going towards your nose, the midline, and switch. Right leg to the midline and switch. So they kind of like do this cross and switch. Remember, head can come down. Open up the back of the knee. Spiral the leg in as it does that little cross. Reach those arms. You got it. For 3 and 2 and 1. Bend the knees in. Float the arms all the way up. Anybody else feel your stomach on that? I hope. All right, inch away from the shoulder blocks a little bit. Toes are on the foot bar, kind of in like a little Pilates V, okay? So this one takes some like patting your head and rubbing your belly. So just, you know, let's just try it out. So from here, you're gonna keep your toes onto the foot bar, okay? Lower the arms down, all the way down. Keep tension in the straps here, okay? So that's gonna govern how bent your knees are. Now from here, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach up into the straps. Now turn your palms facing up and then roll up. Keep tension into the straps, keep tension into the straps, right? As you come up, you're gonna stay leaning back for most of us, right? So again, tension is into the straps, they're not flopping around. And then from here, let your legs help you and roll back down. Keep the arms lifting up, keep the arms lifting up, and come all the way down, right? It's like a little teaser. Now I want you to take the arms out to the side, kind of like a letter T. Equal weight into your feet, take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, feel like you're scooping something up with your arms. Reach up into the straps, push into the feet to help you roll up, 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 right? You got to grab on, you grab on. Hold here at the top. Feel like that reach is coming from your stomach, from your back, right? All the things, if that makes sense. And then curl the pelvis back. Round back. Get your waistband into the mat first. Keep the arms lifted. Try not to let them drop right away and come all the way back. Now, if this is not making sense for you, hang up the straps and just push into the feet, all right? So arms out to the side or behind your thighs. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, push up into the straps, push into the feet. There's kind of like pushing up into the foot bar. Come up, pause here. Palms are facing up to the ceiling and just hold here. Really work that rounding through the spine, but also a lift of the spine, right? So we're not sinking. And then from here, you slowly guide all the way down, down, down. That is deep in the stomach. Last one here. Exhale, scoop up into the arms. Reach, push up into that foot bar to help you. Come up, pause here at the top. Good. Now the carriage is going to move here, all right? Keep the shape of your spine. Can you lower the arms down a little bit? And then push up into the straps. Inhale, lower the arms down. Exhale, reach up into the straps. Remember that reach comes from your back. Exhale, push up into the straps. Sternum goes back. And exhale down. Or sorry, exhale, lift up. And inhale down. Last one here. I hope you're feeling things lift up even taller. And then arms, keep them lifted as you roll down. Roll down, roll down. Obviously, eventually the arms are gonna have to come all the way down. Go ahead now. Let's take your feet into the short loops. Feet into the short loops. Tailbone is heavy. Find your little frog here. So you've got like just a little bit of a Pilates V. Point out through the toes. Hug the heels together. Tailbone is down. Arms are weighted. Go ahead and stretch the legs out long to your working angle. Hug the inner thighs together. And then bend the knees all the way back in, keeping the tailbone heavy. Inhale, stretch the legs out long. And exhale, hug the knees all the way back in. Inhale, send the legs out long. Exhale, hug the knees back in. So can you find a little bit of that seat work or your booty work to initiate that press out? Feel like you're pushing the foot bar away. Now go ahead and stretch the legs out long and away. Reach out through the crown of your head as well. Find parallel. Float the legs all the way up to your 90. Tailbone stays heavy, heavy, heavy. And then lower the legs all the way down to your working angle, keeping the ribs heavy as well. Legs come up, right? So we're just holding that natural neutral. And then all the way down, down, down. Now as the legs come up, feel like the hip creases are deepening. It's almost like you're sticking your booty out, and then push the legs down and away. And now when they're down here, you're gonna open the legs out wide. They're gonna circle around. Keep the spine placement. Legs come up, they meet up at the top. All right, we're just gonna do some leg circles here. Remember, crown of the head is reaching in the opposite direction. Legs are moving at that same rate of speed. Last one here. Bring the legs all the way up to your 90. Now open the legs out wide. They reach into the straps and then come all the way up. Feel like your legs are like being pulled out of your hip sockets. All right, you're trying to open up the coil of that one spring. Reach, 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 reach. And up. Last one here. Zip those legs up together. Float the legs all the way up to your 90. Bend the knees in. Go ahead and take the straps off. We can hang them up. And then let's go ahead and roll you up. And then we're going to come seated, hips up against the shoulder blocks. Legs are going to be straight out in front of you. Okay? So take your thumbs now and hook them onto the long loops. You're gonna sit up tall, palms are gonna be facing down here. Zip the legs up together and then feel like they're trying to go so straight here that those heels might even lift up a little bit, all right? You're gonna sit up tall and now reach the arms straight out in front of you. And right, same thing here. Fists are reaching forward, sternum's drawing back, and then bend the elbows all the way in. Right? It's a low or a close grip push-up. Inhale as they bend. Exhale as you come up. Now, if you started right where the shoulder blocks were like barely touching your hips, or right, you could just barely feel them, check to see now, are we sinking back or are we still lifting up tall? Right, so use them as feedback. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Now hold here with the arms straight out. Without the carriage moving a whole lot, I want you to draw little circles. Little circles. Once again, feel like this reach is coming from your back and there's a punch out through your first and second knuckles. We've got 3. How are those legs doing? Mine are shaking a little bit. And 2. And 1. Good. Now from here, lift the arms up, up, up. That chest is opening as the arms circle around and out to the side. Bends the elbows. 2 more like that. Punch out through the fists. They lower down. They lift up, 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 and then open out wide. They circle around. Come back to those bent elbows. You're sitting up tall. Punch out through the fists. They lower down. Legs lift up. You grow taller as you open up your wingspan. They go out to the side. All right. From here, let's flex your feet. Fists go into the mat. You're going to stack your spine up tall once again. And now nod your chin. Round up and over. Think of reaching your fists below the springs. And then from here, pull your abdomen back as your arms stretch a little bit further. And then lift the arms up to shoulder height. And then stack your spine up tall, tall, tall. Same ending as before. Arms lift up high. They open out wide. And then place the fists back into the mat. Pin the elbows back behind you. And then shave the mat as you dive up and over. Pull your pinky toes back. Can you lift the heels up a little bit higher? Arms lift to shoulder height. Stack the spine all the way up tall, up against that imaginary wall. Arms lift, open out wide, and back into the mat. Last one like this. Go up and over. Up and over. Reach, 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 reach. Arms lift. Stack the spine up tall. Arms come all the way up, circle around and out to the side. Go ahead and hang up the straps. And now we're going to come up to standing. All right, so we are going to come standing to the right of your reformer. So if you were seated on your reformer looking at your foot bar, right, you're going to go to the right. So you're going to take, actually, let's leave that spring on. Place your left foot up against the shoulder block here. And your right foot just kind of goes right in front of the leg of your reformer. So my right thigh is in front of my left thigh, okay? Be careful here. You're going to pop that spring off. So you're on no springs right now, okay? So the left knee is hovering right now. Your right inside of your leg is hugging the inside of the carriage, or the frame of the carriage. And just pause here, right? So feel like you're lifting up tall out of your waist. Your left hip is trying to pick up to your left rib, but you're starting to like push back through that back heel. And what I'm really hoping that you're finding here is just a stretch in the front of the hip, right? Because that's where, right, we've done a lot of hip flexion. So from here, be careful again. You're going to bend into that front knee. You're going to lunge down, lunge back, whatever you want to call it, and really work the push down through the balls of your left foot and then drag it back in. Yep. Again, lunge down and then feel like you're pulling that leg up through mud. You can add a spring on if you feel very unstable here. So like, I think a lot of like balanced body will have a yellow spring or just your lightest spring here. And all the way up. Tripod connection down through that standing foot. And now we're gonna add some arms. So as you go back now, your left arm is gonna go forward, your right arm goes back. You're gonna hinge forward with that flat back. And then as you come up, you're gonna pull that carriage in, bend into the back knee even more, right? And it's just a run. And come all the way up. And on these, don't fully straighten your standing leg, right? So you're gonna keep a bend there. So we just have energy into the arms. You can either go fists, long fingertips. Neckline staying long here, back is staying flat. Let's do 3 and 2. How's that hip? Last one here. You're gonna hinge forward and pause here. Make sure that front knee, that right knee, is right over the center of your foot, all right? From here, can you lift the heel up and then lower it down? Carriage stays quiet. Lift the heel up and down. How high can you lift that heel up? Remember, you have the foot bar here to help you. Oh, yes. So hip stays right where it's at. Let's do 4. You got this. And 3. Can you lift it up higher? And 2. And last one, lower the heel down, bring it all the way in. Holy cannoli, we have another side. So pop a spring on till you get over to that other side. Get yourself set up. Left toes, left knee facing forward. Right foot up against the shoulder block. Take that spring off. Before you bring the carriage out, I want you to now pull the carriage in. Lift that right hip up to your left hip. Press down through the balls of your back foot. From here, this is where you kind of test the waters. And then drag it back in. Because every side is different, right? Because this other side was working. So the second side's always feels like it's worse for me personally. And remember, you're hugging the inner thighs together. You're hugging that carriage as well. Okay, now we're gonna do that run. So as you press the carriage back, right arm goes forward, left arm goes back, and then you bring the carriage in. Remember, don't fully straighten that standing leg. You lower down, you come up, but keep the bend in the knee. Keep energy down through the balls of that right foot. Tripod connection down through that left foot. That foot connection is so important. Remember, you're still picking that right hip up to the rib even as the arm goes back. Let's do 4. Hang in there. And 3. And 2. You ready for it? Hold it here. Knee over the center of that foot. Lift that heel up and down. Holy cannoli. Carriage, stay still. You got it. Lift it up as high as you can. Maybe those hips can go down a little bit lower. Woo. Super high heel and all the way down. You are controlling it up and controlling it down. Relax that neck. Hang in there. We have 4. You got this. And 3. And 2. And 1. Lower the heel down. Bring it all the way in. In. Okie dokie. I just want you to place 1 spring on. Doesn't matter. And we're going to grab our box. So I'm going to go back to the right side of my reformer. I'm going to place the box up against the frame here. I'm going to come kneeling on the carriage. Hands are going to come onto the box. So make sure that you're in a quadruped position here. So hands might be all the way on the box. They might be on the edge. I like the edge here because it's nicer on the wrists. Legs are going to be zipped up together. Okay, so just find this long line, this plank position with your spine, and just hold here for a second. And now we're going to take that spring off. So going back to that no spring. And you're going to hold here. I want you to keep equal weight into your hands, all right? Upper body stays square to the floor. And then slowly, you're going to guide the carriage out. So your right knee is going to lift. You go as far as you can, keeping your upper body square to the floor. And then use your exhale to pull the carriage back in. Inhale as the carriage goes out. And then exhale to pull it in. Play around with how low or how, I guess, much you can let that hip drop. And exhale back in. If you're really tight, right, you might be getting a stretch. Hug the inner thighs together. And exhale back in. Take it slow. And keep lifting the sternum and the base of the ribs up into the back. And back in. You got 2 more. Use that exhale to pull it back in. Good, last one like this. And pull it all the way back in. All right, carefully. Let's place 1 medium spring on. So that's 1 red spring. And now you're gonna take your box and you're gonna place it on short ways. Okay, you're gonna come kneeling on your carriage. You are facing the back end of your reformer here. Toes are on your platform, and you're gonna come onto your forearms. So try to connect as much of your forearms to the box as you can. So if you notice here, like I have to move the carriage out a little bit so I can get into this quadruped position. That's fine, right, if you've gotta do that. So drive your forearms and your fists into the mat, okay? Lift your sternum up into the back. And then from here, hover the knees up off the box and just pause. Gaze is slightly out in front of that headrest. You're working head to tail length. And now from here, can you get more weight into your fists than your elbows right now? Hang in there. You've got 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Carefully lower down. Take a moment. Just the thought of getting more weight into your fists than your elbows, I hope like you feel just something extra kick on, whether it's your triceps, your core, something, right? It's not moving. Maybe it is, right? But it's a thought, right? So let's do that again. Hover the knees up. Press the carriage all the way out to your strong plank and pause. Once again, more weight into your fists than your elbows. Keep that as you slide the carriage out. And then pull it in. Slide it out and pull it in. Inhale out and in. Try to not let those heels move, right? They stay driving back. Tailbone is long. You got it. How them shoulders feeling? For 3, keep lifting up through the base of the ribs. 2, and 1. Pull it all the way in. Lower the knees down. Take a moment. Shake it out. Okay, now we're gonna do a pike. So please leave your foot bar up. It's for my tight people, okay? So once your legs make contact with the foot bar, that's where you know that you have to use your stomach muscles to pull the carriage in, all right, more. So forearms down, weight into your fists, float the knees up, press the carriage out, big breath in. On your exhale, pike the hips up. Yep, pull that carriage in and then go all the way out. Exhale, lift the hips, pull that box all the way in, let your head drop, look at your legs, and then go all the way back out. So feel that it's your upper abs, stomach muscles pulling that carriage in those last couple inches. Pull it in, in. Lift the ribs up, 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 up. You got it. Let's do 3 more. Push the box away, drive into those forearms and your fists. And 2. Hug the inner thighs even though they're apart. Last one. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Go out one last time for me. Bend the knees, come all the way in. Awesome. All right, take the box, place it to the other side for that oblique twist with no springs on. First, I want you to come kneeling. Right, with that spring on to start. Hands onto the box. Make sure the box is flush up against the carriage. Pop your spring off. Hands are just underneath your shoulders. Legs are zipped up here. And just find, once again, head to tail length, your inner thigh connection. Upper body stays super square. When you're ready, it's an inhale as that carriage goes out. And then exhale, pull the carriage in. Inhale out. And exhale, pull it in. Play around with like where you can take your hips, right? Where are you feeling this the most? If anything, I'm hoping that there's like a nice twisty stretch in here. But this is definitely should be done with control. Inhale out. As you pull in, feel like that right hip is being pulled up to that right rib. Make sure your shoulders stay right over your hands. I caught mine drifting there. Let's do 3. Use that breath to pull the carriage back in. Last one here. And drag it all the way in. Beautiful. Sit the hips back and go ahead and place that one spring back on. Just so we can carefully come kneeling now, facing your foot bar. Feet are gonna go up against your shoulder blocks. So we're gonna do a little play on knee stretches. So right now, let's do one light spring, your lightest spring. So for me, that's gonna be a blue. Hands are on the foot bar, right? So my palms are kind of wrapping up and over the foot bar here for this one as opposed to in front because again, it's a light spring. So I want you to feel this kind of pull apart with your arms, but also a pull in on the foot bar. Now sit your hips back, round your spine. Get the sensation like you're kind of hanging on the foot bar here just so you can get a really lovely stretch in the back. Big curl of the tailbone. And then from here, press the carriage back, keeping the spine rounded, but keep the pull down on the foot bar, and then pull the carriage all the way in. So keep that lift up through your upper abdomen. So it's inhale out, exhale, deepen the work to come in. Inhale out, exhale, pull the carriage in. Last one like this, inhale out, exhale, pull it in. Now we take all the springs off, or that one spring off. So the pull down, like chest expansion, super important here. So round into the spine, sit the hips back. And then from here, you press the carriage back as far as you can go, keeping the rounding in the spine. So notice right here, as you press the carriage back, you gotta push down on that foot bar and then drag the carriage in, round, 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 round. Stay rounded, press the carriage back, and then pull it in. You need your upper and your lower body just as much as the other. And then drag it in. Inhale out, lift up through the ribs, and then exhale, pull it in. Inhale out, exhale, pull it in. Neckline is long, pull apart on that foot bar, and drag it in. Last one here, inhale out, exhale, pull it in. Go ahead now, place a medium and a light spring on, okay? You're now gonna come kneeling facing the back end of your reformer. Hook your feet around the edge of the mat. And make sure that you can feel all 10 toes are really like just an equal pulling with the top of the feet. From here, you're gonna lift up into this active kneeling position. The tailbone is reaching down and the pubic bone is kind of lifting up to the navel. Reach the arms out in front of you, like zombie, strong zombie arms. And then from here, lean back a little bit and then lean forward. Lean back a little bit and lean forward. Lean back. And now when you lean forward, I want you to go to that point where you feel like, okay, something's happening in my seat and in my legs to catch me from falling, and then back. Last one like this, you lean forward and then find your plumb line. And now reach down and grab onto your long loops. If you need more tension, you grab onto the short loops. So find that kind of scary lean a little bit. And your pubic bone is going forward. Your arms are straight, strong grip around the straps. Keep the lean as you slowly pull the arms down and back and pause. Check yourself. We're not leaning back. We're kind of pitching into the wind and then slowly release the arms. I am hoping that you are feeling some legs, some booty, something here, and then slowly release. I can see my shirt shaking. 2 more here. Pull the arms down and back. Get your tailbone longer, get your spine longer, and then hold here. Turn your head to the right. I went left. Turn your head to the other direction. Turn your head to center and then slowly release the arms. Ooh, last one. Pull the arms down and back. You pause. Get taller, get longer. Turn your head to the other side this time. The other side this time. And then come back through center and then slowly release the arms. All right, go ahead and hang up your straps. You're gonna stay on those springs. You're gonna lie back. Make sure your headrest is all the way down. And you're gonna place your feet into the short loops. They're gonna go into your short loops. Tailbone is gonna go heavy. Arms, once again, are weighted into the mat. We're gonna go into our short spine here. So it is an inversion. Make sure the weight goes into your shoulders and not your neck, all right? So from here, keep the heels hugging together. Press the legs out and away. And now float the legs up to your 90 and then start to roll the spine and the hips up off of the mat and pause at the top. Arms, they are super glued to the mat. Your sternum is falling away from your chin. And now keep the hips lifted as you bend the knees into the blocks. And now pull your heels to your seat and then roll your chest away from your chin as you roll all the way down like a little ball. Once your tailbone hits, press the legs out and away, float the legs up, curl the hips under, peel the spine up off of the mat, close the springs if it's available, and then bend your knees into the blocks, hips get higher, chin away from chest, and then pull your heels to your seat, and then roll down like a little ball, tailbone hits, send the legs out and away. 2 more here. We're gonna switch it up on these last 2. Pause here, broaden your collarbone a bit more, relax the front of the throat, bend the knees into the blocks. Now this time, keep your feet over your face, but tension into the springs. Roll your hips away from your feet, round down, round down. Now once you feel like you can't go any further, pause here, take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, maybe you could go a little bit further, relax into that stretch. And then pull your heels to your seat, your tailbone's gonna hit the mat. Last one like this, press the legs out and away. The legs are gonna come up and over, push down through the arms. All right, here's your rowing, here's your tendon stretch. Bend the knees into the blocks, hips get higher. And then roll the hips away from the feet. Go down as far as you can. Take a big breath in here at the bottom. And then on your exhale, just let yourself sink into the stretch a little bit more. And then hug those heels together, pull your heels to your seat, tailbone hits. Go ahead and take the straps out of your feet. Go ahead and hang them up. And you are done. I appreciate you.